Black coming to you live. All the way live from Black Pearl Studios, where we talk about Indiana politics from the left side of things. I am going to start off on a very, very, very happy note today. Congratulations to our newest Supreme Court Justice, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. Her story begins today. The history maker was sworn in at noon as our newest Supreme Court Justice. For all the little brown and black girls around the country, there's no cap to who we can be. There's no ceiling that we cannot, no glass ceiling that we can't crash through. We can be anything that we want to be, and we keep seeing it. I am so excited. There's nobody can steal my joy about having a sister on the Supreme Court. And for all of y'all who kept saying, why does it have to be a black person? Why can't it be the best person? Because when you say that to me, all I hear is, you mean to tell me all those other white men who are on the Supreme Court Justice were the absolute best? No. You're not going to make me believe that. There are so many more qualified black women and black men around the country who have never even had the opportunity. And this is what it's about. It's about giving people an opportunity. We still have a ways to go. We have not reached any promised land. There's not total equality. Systemic racism is still real. Sexism is still real. But at least we're moving in the right direction. And I am extremely, extremely happy and excited for our new justice. The joy is in my heart, and y'all can't take it. Y'all can't take it. But I got to tell y'all know, July 1st, all them new bills that they voted on and the governor signed into law go into effect July 1st. So what I wanted to do today is just kind of run down a few of them, not all of them, but just some to kind of get you thinking about what was actually passed in the State House. Some of them are good, some of them are sus, but we'll get there. I find this one funny because I feel like it came out of the pandemic in a hilarious way. The owner of a lion, tiger, leopard, snow leopard, jaguar, mountain lion, or bear must prevent all direct physical contact between animal and a member of the general public, no matter the age of the animal. Violations are subject to a $1,000 fine for each person who comes into contact with the animal. That was House Enroll Act 1248. Man, y'all remember we was on lockdown? And Tiger King, or whatever that show was, had the nation. I believe that's where that bill came from. But that one, because that one's hilarious. All right. Counties, cities, or towns can designate agricultural zones as economic revitalization areas on the same basis as outdated business districts or distressed residential neighborhoods. New farm equipment or new agriculture improvements located in an ERA are eligible for a property tax abatement for up to 5 years. The exemption does not apply to farmland. So this is kind of good. This is an opportunity, but please understand, they're making way for a new crop in Indiana. Y'all know cannabis is going to be legal soon. Don't trip. Don't trip. They're just getting all their ducks in a row. The Indiana Department of Health is authorized to establish and promote a bone marrow donor recruitment program to find eligible Hoosiers willing to donate bone marrow to individuals fighting leukemia, lymphoma, and other blood cell conditions. This is Senate Enrolled Act 398. An adult relative caring for a child after the child has been removed from a dangerous home situation is entitled to directly participate in court hearings concerning services needed by the child or terminating the parent-child relationship. Previously, only state licensed foster parents had a statutory right to intervene in legal proceedings pertaining to abused or neglected children. This is actually a really, really good thing. say, grandmother or auntie or uncle has stepped in to care for these children, their family members, they may not be licensed foster care parents. This is really good. It keeps the kid with their family. That gives an opportunity to know who they are. And it helps that family out to make those really good decisions. I like this bill. A catalytic converter is redefined as a major component part of a motor vehicle, and only licensed automobile salvage recyclers are permitted to buy or sell used catalytic converters. Automobile salvage recyclers also must keep the same record for the catalytic converter as valuable metal dealers, and cash payouts for detached catalytic converters are capped at $25 per transaction per day. Senate Act 293. I'm kind of glad this one's coming to fruition. I know people who have had their catalytic converters stolen. I mean, my goodness, crime is real, and I would like to not have to go buy a new catalytic converter. So this one is actually, again, a really good bill. The penalty for fraudulently casting more than one ballot in the same election is set at up to 2.5 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000 cash. The penalty does not apply to individuals casting a valid replacement ballot as permitted by law. This is Senate Enrolled Act 328. Listen, y'all, this is just a voter suppression bill trying to scare people. Most people don't go vote twice, except for Republicans. They always get caught voting twice. Democrats don't. Individuals charged with crime charged with crimes of who either are acquitted following a trial or the charges are dismissed will have their court records automatically expunged within 60 days of disposition, unless the county prosecutor requests a 1-year expungement delay. Any non-prosecution of criminal charges within 180 days following an arrest must be expunged immediately. Another good bill. You know what? Have you been arrested on job applications and then they leave that stuff there and people go looking in your records? I love this. I love this bill. This one I ain't so happy about. A new crime of coerced abortion punishes anyone who knowingly or intentionally coerces a pregnant woman to have an abortion with up to 2.5 years in prison. The state law already required the voluntary and informed consent of the pregnant woman prior to obtaining an abortion. This is House Enrolled Act 1217. Let me tell you why this bill is horrendous. Say you're a mother or a parent of a 13-year-old girl or a 14-year-old girl who had either, well, first of all, if she's that age, she can't have consensual sex. So let's just be clear. But she has sex, be it forced or whatever, and now she's pregnant. If a parent suggests to that 12, 13, 14-year-old child that they ought to terminate the pregnancy, that is now a crime. There were no carve-outs for exceptions or anything. This is a horrible bill. This is a horrendous bill, and it actually eliminates parental rights over a minor if that minor is pregnant. Now, obviously, the child has the choice of having the baby or not, right? But if a parent is saying, yo, you're not ready, and maybe we ought not do this, just having that conversation turns a parent into a criminal. I hate that bill. All right, another bill that I do not like and I despise. Adults aged 18 and up legally entitled to possess a handgun are not obligated to obtain a state permit to carry a handgun in public. Indiana carry permits remain available for out-of-state reciprocity purposes. Handguns continue to be prohibited in schools, courthouses, and any residence or business that chooses to bar handguns. This, my friend, is an awful, awful bill. That means any old whoever can be out there carrying a gun. And what could possibly go wrong? I don't know. Mass shootings every other week? I don't know. But what really makes me nervous about this bill, we know how some law enforcement people are particularly afraid of brown and black folks. Oh my God, he had a gun. I shot him and I killed him. This is not good for our community. Listen, y'all, take care of yourselves. I'm not saying all law enforcement, don't give me that crap. But what I am saying is that we know that Black and brown people are shot disproportionately to our white brothers and sisters. And the deaths of those people can be terrible. Now they're saying if you even have a gun, they already happy trigger finger anyway. This is a really, really bad bill. I pray for Hoosiers. I'm going to send some positive mojo out to all 92 counties because this is a bad, bad bill. Okay, so this is something interesting, and I hope something positive comes out of it. A 13-member House task force is directed to study issues relating to housing and housing shortages in Indiana. The task force must submit recommendations for policy changes to the General Assembly and the governor no later than November 1st. We have a housing shortage, but not just a housing shortage, we have affordable housing shortage. So this is a good step in the right direction. The in-state rate for telephone calls placed by inmates at Indiana Department of Corrections facilities drops to 12 cents per minute from 24 cents per minute. County jail telephone rates are capped at 21 cents per minute statewide instead of ranging from 22 cents per minute to $4.70 per minute. That was just highway robbery, and that was all the way wrong. I'm glad that they did this, but can we keep some people out of jail? Can we just do that? Pregnant individuals whose family incomes are less than 208% of the federal poverty level are entitled to receive low or no cost health coverage through the Indiana Medicaid for the duration of their pregnancy and up to 12 months after giving birth. Okay, so there's some help for some of our low wage earners who happen to get pregnant. They can get some health care. Restraints used on a prison inmate in her second or third trimester of pregnancy need to be the least restrictive restraints necessary. A pregnant inmate must be unrestrained while in labor, delivering a baby, and during the immediate post-delivery period unless she is an immediate danger to herself or others. I don't even understand why you had to restrain women giving birth, because from what I understand, you ain't really thinking about nothing but pushing that baby out. What they gonna do? I'm delivering a baby and I'm gonna assault an officer at the same time. Mothers, tell me if that's a thing that y'all were thinking about, assaulting somebody while you were delivering. Another bill that I despise: school boards must allow any person physically present at a school board meeting to address the board if the person is interested in doing so. So in accordance with the board's public comment rules, including any time limits. Boards still can take reasonable steps to maintain order in a meeting. See, I don't like this bill because it's not applicable to the State House, right? Because they don't have to actually listen to public comment if they don't want to. But they're going to make school boards, because see, school board members don't actually get paid. Our State House and our senators, they actually get paid. That's why I don't like it. And I don't understand why people got to be verbally abused on school boards. All right, I'm almost done, I promise. The definition of rape is expanded to include a person who disregards the other person's attempt to physically, verbally, or by other visible contact refuse the person's sexual acts. Rape in Indiana also consists of the use of force or an imminent threat of force to compel sexual conduct. Sex with a person unaware of sex with a person unaware sexual conduct is occurring, or sex with a person unable to consent to sex due to mental disability. Listen, y'all, I like this bill, and they can even take it a step further, but we're going to talk about that another day. Utilities are dropping down to a 1.4% charge, and the state income tax rate drops from 3.15% to 3.23% down to 3.15%. All right, that's it. I'm not going to run through anymore. There's so many that are out there. Guys, some of the bills we didn't want, some of them are good, some of them are bad. Some of them are really, really, really bad. And I hope that we can kind of, find a way to rectify that. Because one thing that we're learning from our current Supreme Court is just because something is there don't mean it can't change. Hello. All right, y'all. Thank you. That's my rant. Check out all those bills. I got that from the Northwest Times. Make sure that you check them out. They got the whole list of bills, and you can review those on your own time. Okay, I got a couple of great guests. I'm excited. They were like ready to go today. I'm really excited about it. First up, my first guest won his primary in Congressional District 4. He is running to go to Washington, D.C. to try to fix some stuff up, help out Congressman Frank Mervan, help out Congressman Andre Carson. Y'all give it up. Welcome to the show, Roger Day, running for Congress in the 4th District. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I love it when people are running in the state house because we got to flip some seats, baby. Running for House Rep in District 51, my guest, Mike Travis. Mike, welcome to the show.
Great to be here, Dana. Thanks a lot.
I love it. Okay, I ran down a lot of bills, y'all, and I tried to speed read them. My mouth couldn't keep up with my eyesight. I apologize. But were there any bills that you see or any new laws that you're excited about or anything that you wish wasn't going to be a law?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. There's quite a few, but I'll leave the abortion for later. The Supreme Court, and what I will tell you is that the concealed hand weapons. Listen, I'm a gun owner, but I believe that assault weapons, weapons of war, should be banned. You can have a handgun in your house for safety, which I own, and I don't carry it in. I don't carry a gun in my car because there's sometimes I get mad enough that I'm afraid I might use it. You know, when someone tries to run you off the road or something like. So now that everybody's going to have one, there's people that aren't as controlled as I am that aren't going to be able to control it, and there's going to be more death on the roads. There's already drive-by and road rage accidents caused, and people being shot through the door of their car, children getting killed. I think that's going to be a big thing. Then every time, if you're allowed to wear a gun, I like going to auctions and stuff. And there was this guy here with this big gun on his host. You know, I guess he had a certificate or whatever. And I asked him, I said, who are you afraid of? Who are you afraid is going to come and attack you here at this auction with hundreds of people? Why do you have to do that? And I said, you're just trying to intimidate people or prove what a big man you are. And he didn't say much, but he did put a jacket on that covered the pen up, which was something. So I just think you put too much, give people gun violence is going up every day now. People getting killed because they didn't get any mayonnaise on their hamburger, or their coffee was cold.
You know you're right.
Yeah, these people that work and do these jobs are getting killed for a $7 an hour job, and it's just going to get worse.
I agree.
It's going to get worse. Dumbest law I ever heard of.
I agree. And you know what? I'm with you with that one, Roger. That's why I don't have a gun. I know thyself. And you piss me off good enough, especially when I'm driving. Ain't no telling. So I'm with you, bro. I can't have a gun. Mike, was there a bill that, you know, you either liked or didn't like?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I do like that they passed the affordable housing bill. That is definitely a bonus. As I've been walking around and knocking on doors and hearing people up here in Angola, Subang County, LaGrange County, up here in the far corner of the state, right? I hear that all the time. Whether it be young people, old people, doesn't matter. It is a huge problem that needs to be dealt with, and I think even more so. I think it's a good first step, but that's what I want to see more of. Looking for people to help them, because honestly, let's face it, Indiana is a state where it's hard for people to move to the state. More people leave than come sometimes, especially in my area. And affordable housing is one of the main problems. If you can't find a place to live, you're not going to move in, right? So I'm all for that bill. I want to see more. And I'm on Roger's side, too, about the handguns. I was appalled that got passed. especially when so many law enforcement officials, local and state level, were opposed to it. I mean, just
Yeah.
didn't want it because of the danger of it. Uh, Let alone the danger to the people, the danger to the police themselves. They don't want to deal with people having concealed weapons just because they want to. People need to have a license for that kind of thing. I fully feel that way. If you need a license to drive, we need a license to own a gun, and definitely to have a concealed weapon. I mean, it's common sense. And most Hoosiers don't, they want it to be that way. The polls I've seen, the data I've seen, the majority of Hoosiers didn't want that bill passed, but it passed anyway. I feel I don't want to speculate why, but my guess is it was a nice red meat issue for them to latch onto and try to get votes later down the road for Republicans.
I know, right? And think about this, y'all. A doctor, in order to wield tools to save a life, has to have a license. But a person who can wield a tool that can take a life doesn't have to have a license. I want us to all make that make sense. It won't. It won't. We're in trouble in Indiana. We're going in the wrong direction. And you're right. You know, we have a hard time keeping people in Indiana, attracting people to Indiana. And this ain't going to help none. This ain't going to help. All right, let's get to know these candidates. I want to find out who is on the ballot. Roger, tell the people who you are and where you come from.
Well, my name is Roger Day. I ran for Congress 4 years ago and didn't make it out of the primaries because basically I lost interest because of the low support that the Democratic Party gives their candidates in the state and in the nation. But I went to Decatur Central High School, and I now live in Avon. Speaking of housing, man, the housing in Avon has gone up. Makes me happy because my house is worth a lot more than it was when I bought it. But it doesn't do, we're getting more diversified here in Avon, which is basically a suburb of West Indianapolis. And it makes it more difficult. And every time they want to put up affordable housing or subsidized apartments, the county and the town councils just fight it tooth and nail. So, yes, I agree with your housing view, Mike. I went to the University of Evansville with my major was English Lit and secondary education. Wanted to be a teacher, but when I graduated, I went back to my high school and they offered me 17.2 if I coached a sport and did summer school and taught driver's ed. In my 5th year of college, I played football, and so I ran out of eligibility, so I had to pay for my 5th year. I was a waiter at a steakhouse, working 2 or 3 nights a week, and I made 22.5 doing that. So I went into business, and I've owned quite a few businesses. And last 20 years before I retired, I was a regional vice president for a health insurance marketing firm. 29 states, and so I really know a lot about healthcare. And no, I am for healthcare for all. So I think I lost you.
Oh no, I'm still here. I'm listening.
Okay.
So what made you okay? So you were going through your story. So yeah, no, we're listening. We tuned in.
Okay. So I was with a company that dealt with self-employed people, and I was able to do a lot of good. I was, even if it wasn't covered by insurance, I had enough power that I could pick up the phone and call the underwriter or call the doctors and stuff like that. And I helped get a bill passed to make Indiana a waiver state instead of an accept or reject state, which I'll explain that to you. We were accept or reject. And a lot of women have fibrocystic breast disease, what's called. Sounds serious, but almost all women over 40 have them. They're just cysts in your breast caused by a lot of caffeine. And so you could not get any insurance because you had that fibrocystic breast disease, which, it was just cysts, it wasn't tumors. And matter of fact, with a Republican on Carmel, we got the state to change the law to a waiver state, which means that the woman could still get insurance, but just wouldn't cover her breast. So if she had brain cancer or uterine cancer, something like that, she would still be covered. So I have done some things, and I helped write HIPAA, and so I am very familiar with the health insurance. And I believe in Medicare for all, and So then after that, I came back. I started a business down in Evansville. And then my mom she worked for the post office. So I'm a strong union person. I was a Teamster when I was in
I was a
college,
Teamster.
high school. Ah, good. Did you load a truck or drive a truck?
I loaded them. I loaded them.
Load.
Yeah.
So did I. Yellow Belt and UPS.
I was at
16th
Pepsi.
Street. Oh, okay. Well, and then that's what I did in the summertime jobs. So I've always been active in politics. And everybody goes, well, you should run. You should run. I used to own a restaurant on the west side, 38th and Lafayette Road, called One Eye Jack's in the 80s and late 80s and early 90s. And I would have people come into there and eat and sit at the bar just to argue politics with me. This was during the Reagan years, so I had a lot to say. So I've been a liberal all my life. You know, they call it progressive now. You can call it whatever you want. I'm a liberal, been a liberal, always voted Democrat, always supported Democrats. When Act Blue first became an entity, I started donating monthly. It's automatically out of my bank, goes directly to Act Blue to go to the Democratic Party. So I'm kind of familiar with your Act Blue, but yeah, the thing that I have a problem with is that we get no support in Indiana in the Democratic Party, and it starts at the top. It starts with the leadership. So maybe the Democratic Party needs to look for a different leader to run this state. Like I said, I visited every county chair the last time I ran, and it was pretty sad.
Well, I'm gonna push back just a little bit on your party, because you know I'm a party girl. I'm gonna push back just a little bit. One thing about the party is that
you're in Indianapolis too. It's a different thing. Party in Indianapolis, Marion County.
Yeah, but I was at the state party. Remember, I was the deputy chair of engagement for the state party. I physically went to like 50 counties and did the work. What I would say, and I understand your frustration because I've heard it a gazillion times. One thing we have to remember is that the party is full of volunteers. You have one person that who's on the central committee that is getting paid, which is our new leadership. We just got new leadership, and then the staff. But pretty much everybody else in the party are volunteers. And so when I hear people say that they wish the party would do more, that means you want your neighbor to do more. You want people at the county level to do more. And that's where it has to happen, because we are all volunteers in the party. I'm not discounting your frustration, because I've heard it before, but we all must understand we are in the party. And we make the party what we want to make it. Yes, we all want to make changes, and yes, we all want it to be better. But if you're not engaged in it, or if people are not engaged in the party function, it's not going to get better. So that being said, I just want to throw that out there. So now you decided to run a couple of years ago, and it didn't work out for you in the primary. But why did you believe in real change? Is that one of the reasons why you decided to come back again this year and give it a go? Because, it needs that?
I'm going to tell you why I decided to run, because I was disheartened and I said, I'm done with it. And what you say is true. It's different when you go county to county in the rural areas. I'm in the 4th district. I'm mostly rural areas. You cannot win elections without getting your voice out and getting your message out. It's hard to do with $0 and zero help from the national or the state. But let's forget that. But I'm running now because for the first time, I'm 66 years old. I've been interested in politics my whole life. And I read 5 newspapers a day. I watch Rachel Maddow. I've watched 2 or 3 different stations. I used to listen to Rush Limbaugh all the time, every day, just to find out, know thy enemy. You know what I mean? And I am, for the first time in my life, I have a 4-year-old granddaughter. I am afraid for her future and my country's future, because I wasn't around during World War II, but I sure studied it a lot. And I can see the starting signs of fascism in our government. And I'm afraid for the first time this may be taking.
Yeah, and that's a solid enough reason to definitely get involved. Okay, Mike, Tell the people who you are and where you come from.
Can do, Dana. Yeah, I'm like Travis. I live up here in Angola, like I said, up northeast part of the state. But I'm from Lafayette originally. I'm a little town called Mulberry. Town kind of feel. And I went to Purdue University, got my degree in 2000. I teach middle school social studies. I've been doing that for 22 years now and love every part of it. I love teaching. I love all the parts of seeing kids understand what's going on. I'm married, got 2 kids, great kids, Miles and Sylvia. They're 11 and 6. And my wife is also a teacher, Becky. She actually teaches at the same school I do. I'm very fortunate in that way. What else about me? I'm a musician. I play bass guitar. I'm a local guy. I'm kind of pro-am. I don't really get a lot of gigs these days. I'm getting too old for it. I can't stay up till 4 a.m. at a bar gig anymore. But I enjoy music a lot, and I'm really into the arts in general. And I'm also into games. I'm a gamer. I better be computer games, board games, card games, whatever you name it, I'll play it. In fact, I'm coming down to Indianapolis here soon to go to Gen Con. I'm looking forward to that. I do that every year. And beyond that, yeah, I'm a Democrat. I definitely am. I entered the race this year. I've been, as a teacher, I've been part of ISTA, the Teachers Union for sure. And I've been very involved in the political aspect of that forever because, you know, as you well know, teaching is a political activity. It really is for public state, when it comes down to it. And so I know the importance. I've known it for a long time, lobbying, talking to your legislators, and getting involved in the process. And so I've the whole time been very interested in politics. I teach government for goodness sakes. But recently, this last time around, I decided to get more involved with the Democrat Party.
See, this is what happens when
because I understand what Roger's saying. It is hard to be a Democrat in India sometimes. It really, really is. What's that?
I was gonna say, unfortunately, being way up there in Angola is a prime example of our lieutenant governor's failed promise of getting us high-speed internet. Unfortunately, you kind of cutting in and out up there. So
am I cutting in and out? Yeah, I apologize.
No, it's not your fault, bro.
I'll
it's
talk
not.
Slower.
But go ahead, keep talking to us.
Yeah. Okay. So where was I? Oh, yeah. So I decided to join the Democrat Party. I'm the vice chair up here actually for our county. And in doing that, I got actually I felt a lot better about Democrats because of our new state chair, Mike Schmer. I really feel that things are different at this time around. They really, really are. And I wanted to join the fight. And then came the last session, and they tried to pass that House Bill 1134. Teachers, trying to state that we can't teach the truth. We have to be at the will of whoever. They don't like what we have to teach, they're going to come at us. And I didn't like that one little bit. And so I decided to enter this time.
Yeah, and that's what happens,
and
right?
Fight for education. And as I've done that,
that's what happens, right? People have
that's where I'm at these days. I'm working hard.
Yeah, and that's what happens. Like people get a flashpoint where, you know, there's an issue or a cause that gets them engaged. And 1134 was horrible. I talked about 1134 all through the primary season because I just couldn't believe the extra that they were trying to put on these teachers. They were literally trying to criminalize teaching history. You know, oh my God, little Blake is going to be, you know, he's going to feel uncomfortable. I do not want you to make my child uncomfortable. Heaven forbid that anybody else's child is uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that you're in the race, and we need more teachers in the state house because maybe, just maybe, if there are more teachers as elected officials, some of these bills to make their jobs harder, you know, won't come out of the House and Senate. You know, by the way, guys, if you see me fanning, Who I ain't gonna lie, my hormones are kicking in, and every now and then I will just burst into flames. This is a new thing for me, so please forgive me in advance. But if you like what these candidates are talking about, I have included their donate link on our Facebook Live. So donate to their campaigns if you like what they're talking about. So let's get into policies because there's a reason that you guys are running, and there's some things that you want to see. Mike, we're gonna start with you. Tell us about, when you're out there campaigning, what are the main issues that you're hearing from your constituents? And then talk about how you've taken that and crafted that into your message for your campaign. Mike?
Yeah, sure. Can do for sure. So like I already mentioned two of them. I start off with education. People love their local schools. They do. But at the same time, at the state level, they make it so hard to a
Oh,
very rural school. I do. And so those are the schools that aren't getting what they need, even though we all love them. And so that's one of the first things. The second thing is, like I said, affordable housing, and not just affordable housing, it's one thing to say we can have housing for people that's cheap and affordable, but if it's garbage, no one wants to live in those places.
right?
And that is completely pointless. And so I've heard a lot of people saying, elderly, their retirement homes are just not good. They hate it. They want something better, but they don't know how to do that. And I think that's a prime spot for the state to step in and do more.
I love it. I love it. And for you, Roger?
Well, the thing that I'm hearing a lot about is the Supreme Court abortion ruling. And as a matter of fact, I was in Washington, D.C. It's on my Facebook. And I had many heated discussions with this few people who were there at the beginning because the police were holding all the pro-choice people out of in front of the building. So they looked like it was 50-50. Then after an hour or so, they let out all the people in, and it was like 95-5. And so I had many discussions there, and you want abortion? I said, no, I'm not pro-abortion. I'm pro-choice. I said, I don't want any abortion to happen. I tried to explain to them, they just couldn't understand. We're not pro-abortion. We're pro-choice. I said, it's not up to me to tell a woman what to do with her body. I would like him to carry the baby to term and put the baby up for adoption, but that's my opinion. That's my life values and my life experience. I can't tell the poor woman that needs an abortion, or the 12 or 13 or 16 or 20-year-old woman that wants to go on and become a judge on the Supreme Court, whether or not, and she thinks she can't do it with a baby at 16 or become a doctor or a nurse. They may not be able to do it with a baby.
Right.
They don't see that. They don't see that point. And they don't. And then we got in discussion, well, it's the baby in conception. And I said, well, science says it isn't. And I would like it to be, and I have a plan that a woman, no matter what her situation is, she's going to know within 6 months of that pregnancy, 26, 25, 26 weeks, whatever, if she's going to keep that baby or not. Now, if she has an ectopic pregnancy or something like that, or later on, the last 3 months, she should get an abortion, no doubt about it. But then if she doesn't want to have an abortion and she can't make up her mind, then after the baby's viable outside the womb, then she should have to carry to term. And it would be an agreement on both sides. You would have to have a cutoff time, and then that you would get government help, and then the government would help place that baby. Why are we getting babies from Russia and Ukraine and Poland and stuff? There's plenty of people who want to have babies here. The government could take that baby, set that baby up with an adoption, and she could still not have that baby. She wouldn't have to make the choice in the last 3 months of her pregnancy. That could solve this problem. but each side would have to give. The pro-choice side would say, okay, we're going to take away their choice in the last when the baby becomes viable outside the womb, or she can have the baby removed and given away. But in the first 6 months, you get an abortion, or the 26 weeks, you get an abortion because you want to. That's the choice. That's the woman's choice between her and her doctor. I'm not supposed to be able to tell. I wouldn't dare to tell someone what to do with their body. I wouldn't dare to tell even another man. I wouldn't say, well, you should get fixed. You should get a I can't think
Well,
of
I
the
mean, I
word
get
for it
what
now.
you're saying. Like, I mean, because the same
Vasectomy.
people, I get what you're saying. Because the same people that want to tell women what to do with their bodies were all up in arms about having to wear a mask in public during a pandemic. That's the
Well,
hypocrisy of it all, right?
they're
So,
always looking for a
what other
problem.
issues are you working on and you're campaigning on?
Well, I believe that it's BS that someone says they want an AK-47 to go deer hunt. First of all, I know enough about hunting. My brother-in-law's a hunting nut. You don't shoot a deer with an AK-47 high-powered caliber bullet because it just chews up the meat and rips the organs out and ruins the meat. So that's bullcrap. It's been bullcrap. Do you want to know something? When I ran 4 years ago, I was up in, I think it was Logansport, and we had a meeting. And I said, is there any, and it was all just Democrats. I said, does anybody here own an AK-47? And everybody raised their hand. What are you supposed to do? I mean,
What?
they're going to be out there. And you know what? The really smart people that want to own these guns had better figure out a way to control the people that are using them for mass murders, because people are going to eventually get fed up and ban all guns and ban all weapons
Well,
of
I,
war.
I don't know if that's ever going to happen because people love their guns so much around here. They love guns more than they love anything else. I mean, they love guns more than they do little children in schools.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is if
But they're never gonna ban them. That's the thing. Like, it's only gonna, we have more, it's like we have enough guns in our society for every person to have like 5 guns. It's just,
well, we have 400 million guns and 360 million people. But that's the point is you can't keep doing crazy things and get away with it. You
yeah.
can't keep using these guns. They'll definitely ban automatic weapons of war. They'll come around. They'll ban those because the people that own a rifle or a shotgun or a handgun or for security or for home safety, they will agree. 90% of the people would like to have a ban on weapons of war, but we just can't get it done because we can't get the votes in the Senate. The Republicans don't care what the people want. Like you
Nah.
were saying, most people were against this gun. Police officers and police organizations were against this gun law in Indiana. Yet the Republicans passed it. They didn't care about what people wanted. They just wanted what they wanted. They
Yeah.
wanted the money from the NRA and the gun manufacturers. You're
And so
supposed to
what are your,
represent the
okay,
people.
so we talked about protecting reproductive rights. We've also talked about some sensible gun regulation. What are some other issues that you were concerned about?
Well, the economy,
Okay.
the inflation and everything. I don't believe that. I believe this inflation is brought on by gouging and by companies. I seen the exact same thing happen. Exact same thing happened when Jimmy Carter was president, and they said, "Oh, gas is $1 a gallon. Why? It's really, really too much and too high, and we don't have gas. And there's a oil embargo, and we only have enough oil to last 5 more years. That's why the price went up." And and inflation was high, and they just killed Jimmy Carter. He was a too nice a guy, and the Republicans ate him up, and he bought it. Sure enough, here we are, what, 50 years later, and we still got plenty of oil and still plenty of gas, and we're paying $5 a gallon, which isn't really that much compared to other countries.
Right,
But
right. That's the thing that cracks me up. Like when I listen to people complain about, gas prices, and they're blaming it on whatever president is in office, which I don't understand why people don't know the president of the United States does not control gas prices. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, that's a whole level of disconnect that I just don't
let
understand
me
why people don't
let me
get that.
explain that to you, okay? Gas is a worldwide thing, but it's controlled by a few companies. And if gas was so rare and should be what it is, then how come in the last 3 months the top 5 oil companies have tripled their profits from 2019 before the COVID? They've tripled their profits. So we've got plenty of gas coming in. I read every day where gas is down to $101 a barrel, or gas is going up, and when it goes up at the pump, and when oil goes up in Saudi Arabia, and gas goes up at the pump that day. But when it goes down, the price of oil is really down now. I don't see gas coming down, but what Biden has done, every problem we've had to come up with our economy, the supply chain, the shortages, and the baby formula, and the inflation, he has worked on and solved and has made the problem better.
Yeah.
Gas is now going down. The baby formula thing is
Yeah, and what's crazy, and Mike, you can jump in on this conversation because this is a great conversation to jump in on. What's crazy is like every time the Democrats actually introduce some type of solution in Congress, they vote against it. Jump in here, Mike. Jump in here. Get in this. This is a good conversation. Get in here. I mean, it's frustrating as all get out.
I don't think he hears this. I don't think he hears this.
What I'm upset with is this special session they're going to be having soon to address this gas problem, right? They're going to basically say, okay, people, here's a tax rebate. Here's some money that'll help offset the gas increases. But then that just means that the money's just going right back to the state, right? I mean, if you're not going to have a tax rebate, like a
what is it, holiday?
Getting rid of those holidays. That's the word.
Yeah, tax holiday.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it sounds.
That's the money. But that's the money we use for our roads. If you have a tax holiday, it's not going to lower the gas that much, and then our roads are going to. But then again, if we use the infrastructure money, which Biden got us, without a single Republican vote, we still can fix our roads.
Well, absolutely. Not to mention, we have a reserve. We have reserve money, and we got surplus money. So it's not like we don't have money available to us. They're just not using it in the right way.
And they're going to give us all $125.
And
that going to make your life better?
No, it's not. And well, I ain't gonna say that because for some people it might. $225 for some people might make the difference between feeding their kid. So I'm not gonna say that. But what I will say is the gas tax in Indiana is going up in July. So not only they could at least just hold off on that, right? They could just hold off on raising that. I agree with you, Mike, on that one.
And that's what I'm talking about exactly right there. And the trick is, what bugs me about that though, is that they're not doing it because they don't want to give people a break. They're not going to do it because they feel that a lot of the outside people from out of Indiana will get that, but it's self-serving in lots of kinds of ways.
I mean, it's all self-serving and it's performative. It's not really helping Hoosiers. I mean, honestly, that they're going to take this special session to write some crazy draconian, anti-abortion, Handmaid's Tale BS bill to tell women that they are second-class citizens. We're going to give you $225, but if you happen to have an unwanted pregnancy, I hope that $225 lasts you a while, right? Because they're not going to. Yeah, I definitely get that. All right, so
Dana,
it's November. Go ahead, Roger. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
When I went to school, and well, I still go down to Evansville. My wife is from Evansville, so we have family down there. When I was in Evansville, if anyone knows where that is, a lot of people don't. It's on the between it's right in the corner of Indiana between Illinois and Kentucky. We would drive across the river, across the bridge, and gas was 20 cents a gallon cheaper. Now, how does that make sense? It's the taxes. Either Indiana's charging too much or Kentucky's not charging enough. But when you can drive a mile across the bridge and your gas is 20 cents less a gallon, we still, fill up when we drive down there. Then we drive across over to Kentucky and fill up to come back.
Yeah, yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Well, I mean, again, they going back to these, states' rights, and I'm gonna be real honest with y'all. The hair stands up on the back of my neck. I get a little sweaty when I hear people talking about states' rights. It makes me real nervous.
Well, they can have states' rights as long as it's not about guns. New York has a state right.
You heard Justice Thomas
pass a law taking away their state right.
Well, you heard Justice Thomas. He was like, "We coming after contraception. We coming after gay marriage." But you notice that old punk didn't say nothing about interracial marriage. Punk.
No. Or you can't have oral sex either because sodomy is going to be outlawed. So
I mean, what you gonna go peeking in your neighbor's room and your neighbor's bedroom window and call the police saying they get, because you know what that is? That's just jealousy because they not getting none of that.
To do it, if they give you a reward to do it, like they do with abortions in Texas, yeah, people will go start looking at people's windows.
And it's crazy.
I mean, has oral sex with you, this is going to turn you in.
I mean, and it really comes down to privacy, right? It comes down to privacy, and that they are willing to strip us of privacy to impose whatever they believe that we are supposed to have. Okay, let's move on. Next question. You guys win your election. And Roger, I'm gonna start with you. You win your election in November. And we talked about the issues that you care about, but what is the first piece of legislation that you are either going to partner with, try to get written, co-author? Because yeah, we have our issues that we're running on, but what's that first piece of legislation that you want to be a part of?
I want to break up big tech.
I'm sorry, break up
big tech.
Really? Okay.
Yes, because these people are becoming like the oligarchs in Russia. They're giving too much power. They've got so much money that they can buy other entities. Tesla, let him make his cars, Well, why does he have to go buy a media company? Rupert Murdoch buying Fox News, taking over, having Fox News. They're making money and they're using their wealth to form our government. Like they are in Russia now. I think that we broke up AT&T, okay, and we need to enforce our antitrust laws and break up big companies that get too big. There's only like here. I live in Avon, and we get the Indianapolis paper. Of course, that's owned by Gannett. All the big newspapers everywhere are only owned by a few people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you, because these tech companies are swallowing up our smaller companies, and that stifles innovation, right? They literally want to stamp out the ingenuity of a startup and then take the idea. Like you can't continue to foster growth and ingenuity if you are, stifling young businesses. I love that. Mike, what's the first bill that you want to work on?
Easy. Putting I won't say an end, but a cap to charters and vouchers. Billions and billions have been wasted in Indiana on an experiment that's failed. It really has. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are good charters out there. I get it, but they're few and far between. Most of them are just scams or schemes, and it's hurting our local public schools in a real way. It's not some kind of like, oh, we just want money. No, there are services and programs and schools closing all across the state, and it's getting worse. And they just keep giving more and more money to charters and vouchers with no sort of regulation at all. So that's where I would start for sure.
Oh my God, that is such a great, great place to start because I tell you what, you being up in rural Indiana, up in Angola, how many charter schools are in your area? How many charter schools? Well, unfortunately, I can't get the answer to that one because this internet is, I mean,
Dana, being from an education
No,
background,
I'm there.
and my wife and
Like
daughter,
very few.
very few. And so because there's very few charter schools, it's not like the students in that area can, not a lot of them are going to benefit from those charter dollars, right?
Not we got one.
But then we're
One
still taking
up
money
there.
out of those rural school systems. So they're not getting all the wraparound services that they need. There's inability to offer real counseling to students who need it. I get it. And I'm so glad that you brought that up, being from rural Indiana. Roger, what were you getting ready to say, bro?
I was going to say, having a wife that's a teacher and having a daughter that's a teacher and having another daughter that's a teacher's age, I'm very in the know with the education in charter schools. Charter schools there's certain things that the government should do that the money-making profiteers should stay out of. One is healthcare, not so. One is education. We've had publicly funded education since the dawn of America. It's free, you go to it. And now when we go to charter schools, we're taking money from should go to the public schools and going to charter schools. And no charter schools, even the nonprofit charter schools, are all made for profit.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you want to put a profit leverage on the education of your children? Therefore, I can make more profit, and even the nonprofit charter schools, the people that run it get millions of dollars in salary, and that doesn't count.
Yeah.
So if you take the children, why would you put your child into a school situation where, gee, if I don't hire good teachers and can hire cheaper teachers, I got to do that because I got to make a profit for me. And why would you want your child to be in that teacher school? Why would you want your child to have schools that doesn't have the resources or the social events? I loved high school and college, but most of the time I loved it is because of the socialism, the football, the dancing, the plays, the music, the bands. You don't get those in charter schools.
Nope.
And if you did, wouldn't it be better to make a profit if you didn't do a good enough job and went the cheaper way? So it's just, but the people still do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the vouchers go to poor people because their schools are failing. Well, if they would be involved, the parents would become more involved, and the public schools wouldn't be failing. And they're only failing in the poor people, the economic poor areas of the country. Rural areas, they have no problem. They have no problem with poor public schools. So
I agree. I agree.
That's why they're not in the rural areas.
I agree. I mean, you're not wrong, but what it really is that we know that a significant portion of our budget, our state budget, goes to education, and all they're trying to do is siphon that money out. And again, it's not going in suburban Indiana either. Right? Suburban counties don't have that issue. So all they're doing is really hurting urban areas, predominantly minority areas, and traditionally underserved communities. You are absolutely right. All right, y'all. Guess what? Show is almost over.
Oh, wow. I have so much more to say.
I know, I can tell.
To be honest.
Hey, but first up though, Roger, tell the people where they can find you so they can, volunteer, donate.
Well, you can donate at Act Blue, and I'm on Twitter at NewDay23. I'm on, my email is Roger Day for Congress Roger Day at Congress.
Is Roger?
Website,
say your email again for me.
Roger at Day for Congress.
Is that FOR or just a number 4?
FOR.
All right. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Then my webpage is daveforcongress.org.
Okay.
Oh, but if you really want to know me, you can go to my home web Facebook page, which is Roger Day. And I've been on putting, I basically use Facebook as a place to put things I would like people to read that I believe in.
All right. I love it. Do you
So,
have any events coming up?
not, we don't have a lot of events, no.
Okay.
Not yet.
All right.
We
Well,
have a
let us
lot of-
know. Let us know when you're having some fundraisers so we can get that out for people.
It'll be, oh, I have some fundraisers coming up, but they're kind of long way off.
All right.
So I'll put them, I'll put them after. I'm just now basically getting started because I really, the last time I spent a whole bunch of money and everything in the very beginning, and it really didn't make any difference. And then it wasn't there at the very end. So,
Okay. Well,
without a lot of
we are
donations,
so happy
without
that
a lot of donations.
we're glad
I'll
that you're on the ballot, and congratulations for winning your primary. Mike, tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, I have a website, mike-travis.com. And that's where you'll find my Act Blue donation page, as well as some information about me. I have a Facebook page as well for events and things and just talking. But yeah, I have a web page. It's easy to find.
I love it. I love it. So if you guys have any events coming up, make sure you let me know so that we can.
Let me talk about that if I can.
Yeah.
So I got parades coming up. I'm in Angola. It's got their 4th of July parade coming. I'm going to Stro Days on Saturday. And
I'm gonna talk to the lieutenant.
I am busy bender.
I love it. I love it. And we're gonna talk to the lieutenant governor because Angola needs some high-speed internet.
Yeah.
I'm really upset about that because I wanted to hear more from you, man. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining. Hey guys, check this out. We're in the last days of Pride. It was a good Pride month for me. Again, I was born this month, so June is always good for me. But it's not always good for our trans community. You may not know a person is trans, or you may not know a trans person. Yes, I said it both ways, but it does not matter. Our trans community is as valuable as any other community. And the way that our legislators and adults across the country are targeting trans kids, I have a problem with that. So I need us all to be better as we think about and talk about how we take care of our community as a whole. But I hope everyone has been I know what I wanted to mention. And for the simple humans up in South Bend who go by the slogan of Michiana Proud Boys, you ain't hard. You ain't hard going into a library to intimidate people. And you don't get to tell other people what they can send their kids to. If you don't want your kids to go to Rainbow Story Time, don't take your kid to Rainbow Story Time. But I don't understand people that feel like, oh, you shouldn't do a thing, so I'm gonna stop you. That's not how this works. Some of y'all need to learn to breathe through your nose and maybe go in the library and pick up a book, because these people literally said that they shouldn't learn about sexuality in a library. Now, I don't know if you can make that kind of stupid up, because the irony of I shouldn't learn about a thing in a library should let you know the intellectual level of those humans. So, y'all, it's Pride Month. If there's a rainbow story time or a drag queen story time, if you don't want to send your kid, don't go. But if somebody else wants to send their kid, who are you to stop them from participating? Stay in your own lane. As my mama used to tell me, it takes 12 hours for me to mind my business and 12 hours to stay out of yours. All right, that's Indiana's own. Y'all, I got more shows coming up. I'm reaching out to these candidates. We got them all lined up. We're going to be talking about politics all the way until the general election. That's right. It's happening right now. So make sure you tune in, share this information, share the links, go to the Spotify, go to YouTube, tune in, catch us, because you want to know who these candidates are and you want to stay informed. All right, I will holler at y'all next week.